When you showed it back in the mid 80s, you said you screened it for a little bit. How was it received then? The fashion was probably still very similar, music was still relevant to when you show it now.
Well, I think now in some ways, if there's a nostalgia factor. If you were there, it brings you back to that time period. And if you're a young person who wasn't around then, you can see how it was and maybe be entertained. I think we were lucky to have entertaining material on camera. It just was a lucky break and that we got this stuff, and it all kind of came together in a very short time period. And some of the material was really entertaining, but it just was. We were fortunate, and it's been. People have favorites. I mean, the characters in it. Even if they're on screen for a very brief period of time, people like certain characters. Some characters really stand out, and also, lines stand out. And I think what happens. What I've always found is most of the metal community it wasn't really the fans of heavy metal that embraced it. It was fans of kind of alternative rock and just the different, you weren't finding it circulating among the heavy metal crowd necessarily. They came to it eventually, but I don't think it was something they sought out. And also it didn't have that much exposure. I mean, again, it was really kind of word of mouth, and people that might have a copy, they were having parties and they'd show it to you. But really, that whole tape trading culture, the kind of underground tape trading culture, is what it really benefited from greatly.
Well, so when you screened it in the 80s, what was the reception versus, heavy metal sort of, they always say it died an ugly death once grunge came, and these new bands, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, kind of just squashed all those people, and now there's been a resurgence, it seems like, because it is nostalgic. But what was that initial reaction back in the 80s when people still had the...
Well, again, those people weren't the ones that were seeing it necessarily. It was people that were more interested in alternative music or what have you. I don't even like labels, but I have to just for the sake, the punk rock crowd or the original rock crowd or what have you. Not necessarily the heavy metal or the hair metal crowd. We're seeing it. I mean, I shouldn't say that because I know people did see it there. I don't know. I can't really. I'm just sensing that nobody was embracing it as much as these people that were interested in alternative college radio, the college radio crowd.
Right.
That was what seemed to embrace it more than the heavy metal crowd or the hair metal crowd. But I think everybody who saw it that kind of came up at that time, that there was just something evocative about it. Like I say, you didn't have to be at that concert to know those type of people or know that kind of passion for music.